Hi guys, so as you can see today I am back to film my palette decluttering video. This is all of my eyeshadow palettes here. So I'm probably not going to do very good with this because a lot of these palettes I've bought in the last year or two and I really like most of my palettes. I do use most of my palettes because I cycle through them, whether it's, you know, once a month or every week. Anyways, I apologize for the sniffles and coughs and stuff. I'm sick. Today was one of those days where I was supposed to film like 4 videos for you guys, so like I was caught up for a little while, but it's not going to happen. So there is not going to be any other videos probably this week. I don't know about next week yet. Next week is officially like back to school, so hopefully I can get something filmed, but we'll just kind of have to see. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here because it just seems easier to start down here and work my way up. These 2 Nyx Avant Pop Palettes. This one here is Surreal My Heart, and then this one here is Nuevo Chic. I have swatches of them on my hand there, and they are just beautiful, stunning. I love these. I just don't use them enough. So even though I know I kind of should get rid of them, what I'm going to do is use them this next week. After the week, if I am just like, okay, you know, I'm not going to use these that much, they're nice, but I don't use them very much, and I don't think I'm going to use them very much, I'll declutter them. If they become favorites, then I'll keep them. But yeah, I think I'm just going to give them a little bit of a test run and then kind of decide, because these, I don't use them enough, and they are good. I don't know if I just lack creativity when it comes to them or what, but I'm going to give them one more shot. This is the Makeup Revolution Redemption Eyeshadow Palette Iconic 1, and I also have Iconic 2. Iconic 2 is already in the declutter bag because these I am using them for, I don't remember, I think I was going to do a half drugstore, half high-end look, and these are kind of like the Makeup Revolution's like version of the Naked palettes. The shadows are laid out the exact same way as the Naked palette, and same thing with the Iconic 2. Same way as the Naked 2 palette. So these I'm going to be getting rid of once I do that challenge because I have a couple family members that really want the Naked palettes but just can't justify, you know, getting them because they don't wear makeup every day and stuff. So if these are just as good as the Naked palettes, I might as well pass these on to them. So this isn't going to be staying in my collection for very long. This is all I have for like quads and trios and stuff, and I'm going to keep both of these. This one here is the Wet n Wild one in Silent Treatment. I love this one. Keep this because the shadows are really good and I do like all the colors in here. Kind of same thing with this Pop Beauty trio. All the colors in here are really good formula. They're very smooth and very, very pigmented. It was a trio I didn't really reach for very often, but I've been using it a lot more with my Catwalk palette. And since then I've kind of figured out how I like to wear these shadows. So now that I kind of have a look in mind with these, I do reach for this a lot more. Next is the Anastacio Modern Renaissance palette. Obviously this isn't going anywhere because I love this. I can never open this with one hand. Love this palette, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this one as well. Next I have this IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty Must-Haves palette. Oop. IT Cosmetics pretty much just does matte shadows. Some of these has a slight like sheen to them, kind of more like they're satin, and there's always the transforming like pearl color to change them. This one's transforming Hello Light, so I guess it's different than pearl, but it just kind of adds a little bit of shimmer and it kind of lightens up some of the shadows. But this I like for palettes like the Naked palettes where there's so many shimmers, because most of these shadows, since they are matte, they make for really good blending transition colors. So this I'm definitely going to keep. My Buxom Dolly's Wild Side palette. You're probably wondering what happened to my other Buxom palette. I ended up returning it because the colors were so similar to so many things I already have. The formula is good, but it just wasn't, you know, special enough to justify keeping that palette and the ones that I have the same colors in. This one, the colors are a little more different than things that I have. Some of them are similar, but for example, I don't have anything, I think this purple color, but I did want to keep at least one Buxom palette. So this one I really like. I will do a review on these a little later. I just haven't gotten around to it. Just have not had time to film, but I'm going to go ahead and keep this. So we're looking at the Anastasia Catwalk palette. This is probably, as most of you know, in Project Pan, or my Pan That palette I should say. So this is on its way out, so I'm just going to put this in the pan pile. This is the Anastasia Self-Made palette. I had considered getting rid of this because it's got kind of some colorful shadows in here that I wasn't really sure that I would use or that I use that much. For example, this one here, kind of the minty green one. But I really like this palette, and most of the looks are a lot more wearable and the colors are a little more subtle than I always think that they are. So this palette I really do like. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Same thing with this Anastasia. I think this is like the World Traveler palette. I can't remember the names anymore. Same thing, this has got kind of some brighter colors in it, but I love this palette. This is one of my favorite Anastasia palettes that I've ever purchased, so this one is definitely not going anywhere. Next I have my little Too Faced palettes. This Boudoir Eyes one I think I've talked about a few times. This is just a beautiful romantic palette. I love the colors in this. Just everything about this palette to me is amazing. So this one I'm going to go ahead and keep. This palette unfortunately is a little bit of a dud. This one is the Country palette. The shadows are really, really beautiful. I love a lot of them. However, there are a few that are just kind of duds for me. For example, Rhinestone, Bluebird, they're just glittery, not super pigmented colors. I think if you swatch them, they probably look okay. Meh, actually not even. That was just a, one swipe across and it doesn't really look that good. Some of them are really nice, like that one, but not the more glittery ones like Rhinestone and Bluebird. Y'all is really glittery, but it works pretty well, even though it's a really glittery one. However, I do have a cousin that I think will really like this palette because she's into more country music than I am. I just picked this because I liked the colors, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. Next is the Too Faced Naturally Matte palette. So this palette, when I first bought this, I think it was in my favorites video because I was just obsessed with it and I loved it and I couldn't quit reaching for it every single day. And then I don't know what happened, but I all of a sudden just quit using it and it was like it never existed. And the last couple times I've tried to use it, I just haven't loved it. Like, the shadows are good, but I just haven't loved the look that I've come up with using them. So this I'm going to go ahead and declutter too. It is a nice matte palette, again, to pair with like naked palettes or palettes that are really heavy with like shimmery shadows. But I don't know, I'm not loving it. So this I'm going to go ahead and declutter as well. The One Sigma Beauty eyeshadow palette I have, and this is my favorite. I would say it's probably my favorite eyeshadow palette out of all of them that I own, which is a big statement to make because I have quite a few. But this is the Warm Neutrals palette. This came out, I think, Christmas time a few years ago, and I just love this palette. Love, love, love this palette. Like, some of them you can see the Sigma, like, beauty part has, like, completely worn away. Some it hasn't, like, kind of the more pinky shades. That pink one in the bottom row has not really been used a ton, but most of the shadows in here I've used a lot, and I really, really like them. I think they blend out really nicely, and they all seem to have pretty good pigmentation. There's only one that the pigmentation isn't great, and it's kind of this taupey one up here on the top. And it's a little sheerer than I would expect it to be, but this is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes, so this is not going anywhere. I had to take out of the box. This is the Pure Minerals Soul Matte eyeshadow palette. This I bought because of that girl ShayXO. She did a tutorial with this. I imagine now it's been a few years, but I fell in love with the palette when she did it. I believe Ulta had this on sale last time I looked, and I think it was like $27. But if you like the Naked palettes, the Naked Basics I should say, with the matte shadows, this is like the Naked 3 Basics palette, because it's all matte shadows, but they're all that red and like mauve-y stuff that works really well with those shadows. There is kind of, as you can see, an orange and like a dark chocolatey brown in there as well. Light matte highlight colors. It's a really beautiful palette and I do like it. It doesn't get enough love in my collection, but I am going to make a note to start using this a little bit more because I can't just have this sitting around. This is the Pure Minerals Love Your Selfie palette. This palette I'm having a really hard time with because it's pretty and it's pretty nice. The shadows are really good. They are really pigmented. They're very blendable. Like, there's really nothing wrong with this palette except for I don't like the bronzer because it's kind of orangey and shimmery and I accidentally just gouged it a little bit. The blush is super, super pigmented, and then the Afterglow illuminating powder, It looks really nice there on my finger, but it does not show up as a highlight on me, like, at all. It's just very subtle. It did come with a lip gloss and mascara. The lip gloss I had gotten rid of pretty much right away because I didn't like it. The mascara I used and wasn't really a big fan of, but the shadows are just so good in this, I don't want to get rid of it. This palette just gets really forgotten about in the bottom of my drawer, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of it. Shadows, they're really underrated. They are really, really good. This is a fantastic palette. I'm a little sad to get rid of it because it's so good, but I think someone else will really enjoy it, so this I'm going to go ahead and pass along. And then this is where things start to get really, really tricky. This is the BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette. This is right up there with that Sigma Beauty palette, which is really, I think, strange. When I bought this palette, I'm like, I'm expecting it to be okay. I don't have high expectations for it, though. But literally every special occasion I have where I want like a soft, romantic look, I use this palette. I just love it every single time I use it. It blends out like a dream. It always makes me look like I'm way better at makeup than I am, which is funny. But I was even thinking about using this for my wedding day because I like it so much. So I feel like that really says a lot about this palette. But I'm obsessed with it. So this I'm obviously going to be keeping as well. This is my Wet n Wild Petal Pusher palette. I don't know if you can tell, but I have pan showing on 2 shadows here. So obviously this palette gets a lot of love. This one here is pretty close to hitting pan too because I use this one a lot. But this I'm going to keep because I do use it a lot. And some of my favorite shadows are in this palette, so I love this one. Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. This palette, I wish I could just split it in half and just keep the green colors and get rid of the browns. The browns are pretty, like I have swatches of them. That's like that top row there. 2 of them are from the more brown side and the other 2 are from the more green side. I love these 2. These are really pretty. This is just kind of a basic black, so it's not super important. And then this is like MAC Club kind of. So these ones I really like. I just don't like the brown shades in here as much. Like they're pretty, but I just never like the looks that I come up with using those. So as much as I don't want to because I love the green shadows, I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. I know I could technically pop out the green shadows and put them in like a Z palette or something, but I don't know, then I just feel like what am I going to do with these? I don't know. Maybe I might hold on to this and do like a pan that palette with it, and maybe I can kind of make myself learn to like these. Come get creative with them. I don't know. I'm going to put it in the pan pile for now, and I'll decide later what I really, really want to do with it, because I think it would be kind of fun to pan this palette. The Rock Pro 3 palette. This, again, I love as well. The colors are all right up my alley. As soon as I saw this palette, I was like, this would be my eyeshadow palette if I made it. The only exception is Medallion. I wish Medallion was better. The formula with this one is just so gritty and just, it sucks. But otherwise, all the other shadows I like. I know a lot of people said they don't, and they don't really like this palette, but I guess I'm the weird exception, and I do like this palette, so of course I'm going to keep it. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This one I should get rid of, but I won't. I don't know why. I don't really like this palette, but I just, for some reason, can't get rid of it, and I think my boyfriend might have got this for me as a gift, or he helped pay for it or something about it I remember with him, and it's kind of part of the reason why I don't want to get rid of it. All of the colors in here are nice, some better than others, but for some reason I'm just not in love with this palette. As much as everybody raved about it and stuff, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I'm gonna hold on to it, and if we do another declutter, we'll kind of see where I'm at then. But I can tell you right now, some of the shadows in this palette have never been used. For example, Strawberry Bonbon and Candied Violet. I don't think I've ever used these 2. Felt the urge to reach for them. Triple Chop Fudge, I don't think I've really used very much either. So I'll hold on to this for now, but we'll see next time. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. This palette, I looked at it, I'm like, I hate the packaging. It looks super gimmicky. I'm not, I kind of didn't want to buy this because I was like, I don't think I'm going to like it. This is by far my favorite chocolate bar palette. I use this a lot, actually. I've been using this one the last 2 weeks, and again, completely obsessed and in love with it. So I don't know. This one, for some reason, I like a lot better than the original chocolate bar. This Cafe au lait color here, this I'm obsessed with. Satin Sheets is in the Boudoir palette too, and that one is really good. Yeah, I just like a lot of these, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this one too. This I have not pulled out for a little while. It is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. This too is really, really good. This I took with us when we went to LA, and no regrets. I love it. I'm just obsessed with neutral palettes, and this one is a really great one, especially for traveling. So this I'm going to keep as well. This palette, they brought it back this year because I know my Ulta had it and it was on sale. Let me open it here. This is the Urban Decay Smoked palette. Look at how beautiful that is. If I'm going to wear a color, I'm more likely to wear jewel tones, and I mean this palette has that. It's got the dark smoky colors. I wear this a lot for, I guess, like special occasions like concerts and stuff where I feel like I can wear smoky eyes. I do have the booklet too that has a bunch of really great looks in there. I've tried all of them. I love them all. I think when I was in cosmetology school I bought this, which was kind of a while ago, and really probably shouldn't keep this palette because of that, but I remember wearing this palette like every day because it's just so gorgeous. Like, how could I not? I even bought one for my best friend because she fell in love with it. So this is a really good palette. I love the packaging too for traveling because of the zipper case. I just feel like it's really secure. So I love this palette. Here I have my Naked palettes. I'm not going to really touch on these. I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, I'm going to keep them. The only one I would consider getting rid of is the Smoky palette because I'm just not big on this. However, I did make myself use this a little bit earlier in the spring, and I kind of started to like it a little bit more. It started to grow on me. So I'm not in love with it completely, but it is a palette that I enjoy and do like to use from time to time. Of course, I have the little Naked Basics 2 palette. This I love. This has got some really great cool tone shadows in here, especially for blending and stuff. This is the Urban Decay, I believe this is the Vise 3 palette. Best fall eyeshadow palette ever. Again, a lot of these colors, they're kind of darker and a little more jewel toned. I love them for fall. I think part of the reason I like to wear this palette in fall too is that I bought it during fall, like during my birthday month, like October, I think. So a lot of this palette I associate it with fall, especially this whole like red burgundy row. Love. The same thing with this purple and gold and kind of rich brown color. The blues and greens, I feel like those are probably something I'd use more during the summertime, but they're fun for fall too. The matte neutrals in this palette are fantastic. I have used all of them a ton, and kind of same thing with these ones over here. I used a lot of these as well. So this isn't going anywhere either. It's one of my favorite colorful palettes that I have. And here is the Vise 2 palette. This one is the one I was considering getting rid of because I don't feel like I reach for it that much anymore. I want to do the same thing with this that I'm going to do with those little Nyx palettes. I want to play with this for about 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, officially decide if I'm going to keep this or get rid of it. I do have some looks with this palette that I really like, but there are some shadows in here I've hardly touched. For example, the 2 pink colors. I think kind of Strike and Stash, this gold and this green. The blues I've actually used a pretty decent amount. The bottom row with like the more neutrals I've used. The purples, this one here has a nice little dip going on. So, you know, I have used some of them in here, but not that many. So this I just want to play around with before I officially decide. And then this one here I think is probably going to shock you guys, but this is the Morphe Brushes Jaclyn Hill palette. This is what mine looked like. This shadow is still smashed from the day that I got it. I've just never repressed it. Believe it or not, we don't have just straight alcohol laying around our house, so I actually have to go like pick some up in order to repress it, and I just never remember. But this palette, I'm really strongly leaning towards getting rid of it. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I just don't reach for half of the shadows in here. A lot of these orange shadows I don't really use. I'm really into, you know, this half of the palette that's more neutral and the more brighter pink colors. I have used the green once, but I mean, that's once, and I've had this palette for a while, so I just don't use it enough. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because I just don't use it. So it kind of makes me a little bit sad because obviously this was a pain in the butt to get. I got it the first time they did it, which I want to say was like in January, I think. For some reason, I remember thinking it was like after Christmas, but Christmas and maybe after New Year's or something like that. I remember it was around Christmas time, but it was after Christmas. So I got this the first time around. It took literally all day to get it. My boyfriend was on the computer, I was on my phone. We were trying for hours, and now I'm just gonna get rid of it. So it's kind of sad. But I don't know, I just don't use some of the shadows in here. The other ones are just things that I already have in other palettes and whatnot, so this I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of. This is what my palette collection looks like if I get rid of the ones that I was kind of on the fence about. Not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I'm not super happy with how I did. I think I could have done a little bit better. However, I do know that all of these palettes, I do use them because I'm really good about rotating my palettes out. I know which ones are my favorites. I know what I like to use them for. I'll have looks that I, use these palettes for. So it's not like it's a palette that I'm kind of stumped on or I don't know what to do with it and I just like it because it's got pretty colors. Yeah, this is it. Not too bad, not too good, but yeah, it's just kind of okay. So anyways, next, I don't know if I'm going to do lipsticks next. I want to, but it's honestly a huge hassle. I've been going through and wearing them all like one by one to try them on and see, how I like them, how they wear, what colors are similar. And right now I'd say that's pretty 50-50. I think I'm keeping about half of them and getting rid of about half of them. I hope that ends up being the case when it comes to actually do the video. So the next decluttering video might either be nail polishes or like my lotions and hair products. And I do want to do perfumes at some point too. So we'll see. But this is it for my palettes. So anyways, thanks you guys so much for watching and sticking with me even though I have a little bit of a cold or something going on. But thank you guys and I'll see you next time.